Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Pure Nostalgia here, and today I'm finally going to be doing a review for Star Wars The Old Republic. I think like 6 years after this game came out. I finally got to sit down and play it, guys. I did mess with it a little bit when it first came out for free-to-play. Had a lot of things going on in the background, and it didn't really take. But I'm happy to say that I did put enough time into it to get a review together, at least enough to let people know if it's worth their time. Now, as somebody who watches YouTube, I've seen quite a few reviews myself on this game, and most of them seem to be kind of negative. They come from people who started playing the game back in the day, and then over time, it didn't really agree with them. I completely understand where most of these folks are coming from. I've been in their position many, many times. I am not that guy this day, and I'm happy to say that because I didn't hype for this game. I had no hype. I had no reservations for what it was going to be before it came out. I didn't play Star Wars Galaxies. I didn't have all these preconceived notions of what I wanted it to be. So when I got around to playing it, I knew what it was already, and there was really no hype bubble there for me. It was just, hey, let's try this out, and I was pleasantly surprised. I have to say, I do enjoy this game quite a bit. However, it's not without its faults. We're going to be getting into all of that, so I want you guys to strap in. This is going to be a little bit of a long video, but I think it's worth going through, and I hope you all enjoy it. So the first thing I want to talk about here is the structure, and this is definitely the most complicated thing to explain. In the entire video, I've tried to talk about it like 10 times. It's kind of hard, guys, because the game is structured in a weird way. It was built kind of like Knights of the Old Republic, the single-player game, right? That's the core of this game. They really focus on the story. So if you're coming for a story, you're going to get one. And there's a story for every class, and some of them are weaker than others. But from everything that I have seen so far, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to absolutely love each and every one of the stories. Well, maybe not each and every one of them, but you're going to love most of them. So that's the core of things, right? So that kind of makes it hard to make it into a traditional MMORPG, and that's where this game has really struggled. It's pulling in multiple different personalities. You've got people who are coming here looking for one thing, and then they find out it's another. If you're here for the story, like I said, you're going to really have a good time. But once that story dries up, I don't know where that's going to leave me. I don't know where that's going to, let alone where it's going to leave you guys. I don't know where it's going to leave me because I haven't gotten there myself yet. Now, you have to bear in mind, there's dozens and dozens of hours of story here. Just the main story alone. If you wanted to do it on all of the classes, which by the way, you could do it completely free. You can go through and see all of the main story for each of the classes. Now, if you wanted to go to the expanded stuff and see all of the expansions, you have to subscribe for at least 1 month. After that, you can go through and they're all free to you after that point, I believe, except for, I think the latest one, I think you might have to buy it. I don't know all the details about all the expansions. Like I said, I'm not there yet. But from what I've gone through so far, it's all quality storytelling, and it's a lot of fun. And what you're getting here for free, I mean, you really can't pass up the opportunity to at least try out the game. So that's one of the nice things about this game is that you can come in and check it out. Now, there are going to be a lot of restrictions for free-to-play players. You're not going to have as many credits. I think like 250,000 credits is the cap, which is ridiculous. There's all sorts of travel things that are going to get in your way. You're not going to be able to return to different parts of the town. You have to run around more. A lot of things that are going to really drag you down. Once you sub, you're never going to really want to go back. That's one of the things about this game, and that's how they've structured it. They've structured it in a very clever way, where you're going to have to spend some money, or you're going to just lose your mind with the lack of space that you have, the lack of credits that you have. You can't really buy things. You can get around and you can get away with playing for free for quite a while. And if you click on a refer link, somebody can give you a referral link. You can get 7 free days when you first start out. And I am going to have my referral link in the description, by the way, because this is something that is win-win. It's part of the structure that they set up, and I have to say I really like the way that they did it. Both sides that have anything to do with the referral code get hooked up pretty nicely. But like I said, stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to be talking about that more. There are some pretty nice rewards there. Now, in terms of the cash shop, it's not that intrusive. The worst thing that I can say about it is that it exists. It's there. It would be better if it wasn't there. I think most people would agree. Actually, I think everybody would agree. It would be better to earn all of the rewards that are inside of these crates, inside of these loot crates and all these different little loot boxes. It would be better to just have them spread across the quests and achievements. And that's the thing about when a game goes free to play. You really, man, you piss off your original fans because they remember a time where they had to go out to get that. They had to do this, they had to do that, and it was better. And that way is always going to be better. But unfortunately, the game did go free to play, and the cash shop is there. Now, on the bright side, you can get everything that is in this cash shop off of the market. You can go into the auction hall, and you can get everything. But like I said, if you're not a subscriber and you haven't subbed at all, you're only going to have access to 250,000 credits. You can get vouchers to pull more out later, but you still have that ceiling there that you can't get past. So the mounts that cost a lot and the things that cost a lot in the game, you're never going to see those unless you sub. So the sub wall is real. There is definitely a gate there, but it's not that intrusive to people who are just coming in. If you're just coming in, you're going to get a lot out of this for free. And that's why I decided to throw money at it. When I play a game that's free to play, the first thing that I'm thinking to myself is, okay, if this isn't fun and they're just slamming me over the head, buy this, buy that, oh, running out of space, do this, do that, I'm gone. But if I'm having a good time and I feel like they're kind of letting me off my leash a little bit, at least they're letting me go a little further than other people do, I'll stick around and I'll put money into the game if I'm having fun. I didn't feel like the inventory space was too restrictive to start. You can expand it with a little bit of money. You're going to be able to do that. Probably by like level 10, you'll be able to expand your space to where it's acceptable. A lot of those things you can open with credits in game. You don't have to spend any money at all. So yeah, I can't really complain too much about the cash shop. Now, in terms of the way that the world is structured, it kind of functions like Phantasy Star Online if you've ever played one of those games. And by that, I mean that it's kind of linear. You know, it's not as open as World of Warcraft. You're not going to be running around and just seamlessly transitioning across the world. You're going to have to travel to different areas. There's going to be load screens and stuff. So that's something that puts a lot of people off. A lot of people like that big sandboxy feel, and I do as well, but I feel like this structure works because of the way that it's set up with the story. It just feels right. It feels good to me. I don't really notice it that much. There's people coming around and doing their own thing. I run into a lot of people. Surprisingly, the population on my server, at least, seems to be pretty damn healthy. Now, you will come across areas that are instanced for you and your group. You'll go into them, they'll be denoted by a green barrier that you'll go through, and then that's your own little personal instance. But for the most part, if you're looking for something wide open, you're not going to get it here, folks. This is pretty linear. In terms of the combat in the game, if you've played World of Warcraft, you've played this, because it's basically the same exact thing. And a lot of games do that. I'm not saying that to harp on the game or anything, but it's that older style. It's not an action MMORPG, which lends me to believe that somebody's probably working on one of those right about now. That's probably a video for another time, as a matter of fact. But this uses the traditional cooldowns, and it feels pretty good. If you've played WoW, like I said, you're going to get into this, and it's just going to kind of flow. I've already got my own little setup that I've had for WoW for years, and it works great. I hopped into a group, and I think that they were honestly surprised with the way I was performing, because from what I've heard from a lot of people, the newbies that come into this game, the game doesn't really do much to prepare you for group content. You just kind of slay everything with ease. You're a badass, and for the most part, let's face it, you're going to be a Jedi when you first start out. Most people anyways. And you're just wiping the floor with everything. Your companion is very powerful. That's one of my complaints about the game, is that it's a little too easy. Now, I did get into it when there was a double XP bonus going on, so I'm leveled higher. Now, the game does scale you back into the zone. Like if you're a real high level, it'll scale you. If you're a real low level and you go into a group content, it'll scale you up. So up and down. It's nice how it does that. I do like that. But you're still going to wreck everything, and you're still going to get wrecked if you don't have the appropriate gear, vice versa. So it's just kind of a pain in the ass when you're running through doing your story. If you happen to get leveled up the way I did, I'm just steamrolling over everything, and in some instances I'm just running past everything and going straight to the objective. So, and the story doesn't match what I had to do to get there. It seems like this big struggle kind of story, and I just cheesed my way through the whole damn thing. Now, as it goes along, that's going to start to slow down. It's going to get more and more difficult for me once I start getting into the expansions, I'm sure. Once I level out, and like I said, I started with a boost, so I'm like level 36 in level 26 content right now, so that will kind of tone down. But a lot of people have complained about that. Now, there's heroics in the game that you can do. It's supposed to be for up to 2 to 4 people. You can kind of do it by yourself. You got your companion. You don't really need anybody to come with you. Now, normally that would piss me off. If I was playing like EverQuest 1 and 2, I'd say, hey, you know, this is cheesy. This is just a way to pad out the game for people because there's nobody to group with. But it makes sense in an Old Republic game, right? Because Knights of the Old Republic, you had those companions with you. And to be honest with you guys, I was actually kind of disappointed when I noticed I didn't get 3 followers with me. I didn't have 3 companions. You know, obviously I wouldn't want them all to be overpowered. I'd probably take the power of the one I have and just spread it over 3 other companions to have with me, because that was one of the things that I really liked about the KOTOR games. You had all these different people with you. You could just dress them up the way you wanted and just, I don't know, it was fun. But I can see why they chose to only give you one of them, but it does work for this game. It's just the way that this game is. And like I said, if you're coming into this and you want a wide open sandbox kind of experience where you're grouping with people, traditional EverQuest style, you're just not going to find that here. This is more of a single player game in a multiplayer environment. In a way, it's kind of akin to Destiny and what they've been doing with Destiny and The Division, which I'm completely okay with. I've gotten a certain amount of love for these hybrid MMOs, if you will, because I've been kind of burned out on MMOs in general. I think most of us have been. So this, to me, it's kind of refreshing. And now I can see why a lot of people were disappointed by this when it was coined as an MMO and coming off of the heels of Star Wars Galaxies. It must have been a bit of a shock to come in and see, wow, this is very different. This is not what I expected. To me, that's a pleasant surprise. To you, that might turn you off. But in a time where everybody's kind of doing the same thing, this did something different. You know, and yeah, it's using the World of Warcraft style of gameplay, but with the story narrative, I've never seen anything this good in terms of a story. And I am definitely going to go through and play with all of the characters. Moving right along now to graphics. Yes, we spent that long just talking about the structure of the game. I told you guys this was going to be a long video. So graphically, this game looks pretty good for its age. It's not that bad. I was surprised when I put everything on the highest settings. It looks nice on the whole. When you're running around and you see all the foliage and everything just kind of moving in concert with the world, it looks nice. If you zoom in and really scrutinize things, it doesn't hold up. It's an older game. But the character models are okay. The armor, it just kind of looks like it's pasted on there for the most part. Some of the newer pieces look better. The Mandalorian armor that I just got for my bounty hunter is beautiful. I love it. There's some really nice custom sets that people put together in this game. I see them going by all the time. It's going to be one of those things where you're checking out the way people look, because it's Star Wars. When someone comes around looking like a badass Jedi and they've got all this cool stuff, yeah, you're going to take notice. In terms of animations, they're not that great. I'd have to say that's probably one of my main complaints. Now, when you force leap on this stuff, that's cool as hell, and it's fun. It is a lot of fun. But nowadays, the animations, they don't really hold up too well, especially when you look at the new Battlefront games. I know there's a lot of people who absolutely hate those games, but the animations in them, they're fantastic. And the graphics, I mean, I think we can all agree that's one of the only things that those games have going for them. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous and they're very well animated. So time has definitely taken its toll on the game. But in terms of sound, you're talking about Star Wars here, guys. The sound is ace. It's the best. It's Star Wars. You're getting all of the lightsaber, the blaster sounds, all the really great music. I like what they did with the music because they've kind of molded their own little soundtrack. They kind of wove it into the original soundtrack. You know, scores that you remember. They kind of just spread them out throughout different pieces. And it's really nice. It's a good touch because once you get fighting and you hear that traditional, you know, you're dancing around with the sword, it just kicks in. It seems like it kicks in at all the right times. But then again, there's times when the music just doesn't seem to want to stop. And it seems like there's quite a bit of a bugginess to it. A lot of times I've been in a fight and I'll be done with that fight. Everybody's dead. My lightsaber will not retract. And I cannot just seem to get rid of the music. So when you've got this epic battle music going on and nothing's going on, it just feels really weird. So that's a thing. But for the most part, sound is just perfect. Now, I've already really touched on the controls by saying that it's basically like World of Warcraft, so there's really not much to go off of on that. Customization is nice. You've got everything there in terms of laying out your UI the way that you want. You're going to find something that works for you. You're going to come up with all of your key bindings. All that stuff is there, so you don't have to worry about not being able to customize your experience. Now, I want to dedicate this part of the video to the space combat. Okay, now if you haven't engaged in the space combat in this game, let me just say it might come as a bit of a shock to you to know that it's on rails. It's on rails. When I started playing it, they were like, "Oh, hey, you get your own ship. Oh, sweet. Oh, there's a bunch of space combat to engage in. Click, 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 click. I'll take all these missions." And then I got in. I don't know how I never heard from anybody before. I never read any rants. I never seen anything. I went in and was just blindsided by an Imperial dreadnought. I was like, whoa, no way they put this on rails. But they did. It's what they did. And I have to say, it does look nice. Graphically, it's probably the best looking part of the game. But no. They dropped the ball here. You could have had some amazing space combat. Just make it like Star Wars Battlefront of yore. The original Star Wars Battlefront 2. Give us that space combat. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody's clamoring for. Just give that to us. Put a bunch of bots out there and a few other players, and let us just try to take each other's ships out. That would have been great. Could you guys imagine the PvP if they would have done that? All the different ships and customizations and all the shit they could have done? Nope. On rails. Just an afterthought of a mode that I played like 3 times and was like, yeah, I'm not even going to customize my ship. If I have to, if I learn that I have to going forward in the story to progress, it's going to really break my heart. Now, some people might enjoy it because you can just go to your ship and just chill, kick back, and play it with basically just one hand. It's on rails with just the mouse. That's all you need to concern yourself with. So, you know, maybe if you're just having trouble falling asleep, fire this up a little bit, you know, go in, shoot at a few fighters, and, you know, you're off to La La Land in no time. In terms of player versus player, I can't really speak about it, guys. I have not engaged in it. I've heard it's pretty decent. People seem to like it. Some people seem to not really like it. Like I said, World of Warcraft. I mean, and if you look at the way World of Warcraft is set up, you're going to see a lot of similarities here. You've got your battlegrounds and things like that. And yeah, you do have some open areas like Terran Mill would be from old school, I guess, World of Warcraft, where you could just kind of go out and do a little bit of open PvP, but nobody's engaging in it. I've heard be careful in certain zones because you can just get killed by other players. It hasn't happened to me yet. I've been over a decent amount of the galaxy and nobody's attacked me yet. I'm sure it will happen eventually, but in terms of PvP, it's something that's going to have to wait for a later review when I get through the end game, because I definitely want to revisit this. It's an MMORPG. It's hard to review, right? It's one of those things that it takes a long time to get all the content absorbed to bring it to everyone. But I didn't want to wait until I had, you know, 200, 300, 400 hours to bring you guys a video. If I would have done that, I would have never got the video done. I got to be honest with you, because other things would have come out and I would have forgot about it. There have been so many times where I've wanted to talk about MMOs on this channel, and I didn't do it because I felt that I didn't have the time invested. I only had 40 or 50 hours, which wasn't enough. And I'm only saying this because I know there's going to be people in the comments saying, oh, you didn't play, you don't have the right to review it, you weren't there day one. I'm not trying to say my opinion is above anybody else's. As a newcomer to this game, I have enjoyed my time with it immensely. I think it's a very good game, and I can see where people have had problems, and I can see that once the story dries up, yeah, it's going to lose a lot of its luster. But for the most part, I very much enjoy my time with this game. Now, I can tell you guys with confidence, before I even get to the end game and start raiding and getting into the PvP, that it's not going to feel as good when I get there. Because this game's main strength, to me, seems like it's also its main weakness. When you've got a story-driven game like this, it heavily depends upon the developer to keep cranking that story stuff out for you, right? And they can only do that so much. They can only do that at such a pace. So once that starts to dry up, yeah, I can see this game being kind of like a revolving door. You're going to have people coming in and out. And when the expansions come out, they come in, they play the story, they go back out. A lot of MMOs are actually, every MMO is like that. Most people, I think, play like that. I do myself. I'll go back to WoW. I'll play the expansion for 2-3 months. Then I'm gone until they come out with a good patch. Then I'll, and I do this with multiple games. This game seems like it's probably got a much bigger wall that you slam into once you run out of that. At least World of Warcraft and games like that seem like they're giving the players more endgame things to do, more on the side of raids and PvP battles and things like that. This game seems to not focus on that as much. So you're going to have people coming in and out. But like I said, because it's free to play, I see absolutely no reason why people can't get into this and give it a shot. If you're a returning player, maybe you're interested to see how this has developed over the years and you haven't played since it went free to play, you're going to find some things that are really going to piss you off, but you're probably going to find some things that you like. There's definitely going to be a lot more content here for you to sink your teeth into, and hey, it doesn't cost that much to really get into it if you do decide to sub going forward. Now, in terms of the Refer a Friend program, I'm not going to get into too many details about everything. You guys can check it out on the official page, all the things that you get. But if you go ahead and click on that link, you're going to get hooked up with some stuff. I'm going to get hooked up with some stuff. So I'm going to put it in the description. I'm also going to put it in the comments because, hey, I don't feel bad about plugging this. It's a win-win. You guys get stuff, I get stuff. I want to see how many people I can get to sign up to this because it's going to be pretty damn cool if a lot of people do. Now, I'm going to say right now, if you get into it, send me a mail on the game. You can see all the information on your screen. You can see the server I'm on, the name of my character. Send me a mail. Let me know if you subscribe because I'm going to send you some credits. I can't say how many because I don't know how many of you are going to do this. If like 50 people do it, obviously I don't have a lot of money. I just started playing not that long ago. But as things come in, I'll be able to kind of line it up and send people, 2-3 mil a piece. That's what I'm shooting for. But who knows? I'm probably going to get 1, maybe 2 of you guys to sign up, maybe none at all. But it would be cool if you did get into the game. Send me a friend request. We can play together, do some things. So like I said, I'm mostly doing things on my own, but there is group content to do here. And it's a lot better to play with your subs than to play with pugs. That's all I can say. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. And if it's your first time coming through here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.